You wake up in the morning, have the same breakfast you always have, eat the same lunch you've been eating for years, go to bed at the usual time, and still feel like something's off. The fatigue won't go away. The belly won't shrink. Your blood work comes back with those numbers out of whack, the kind the doctor glances at for 2 seconds and says, "You need to improve your diet," as if you didn't know that, as if it were that simple. And you leave the office with a prescription in your hand, a strange feeling in your chest, the impression that something important wasn't said, that there's a piece of the puzzle no one's showing you. And you're right, there is. Because what most people with fatty liver disease never discover is that the problem might not just be what they're eating, but something they do every day without realizing it. Something so common, so normalized, that it would never occur to you, that it could be literally poisoning your liver from the inside. I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm not talking about fried food. I'm talking about a silent mistake that repeats daily in the lives of millions, that damages the liver from the inside out, that sabotages any attempt at reversal, and that keeps happening even when the person swears they're doing everything right. If you've made it to this video, it's because your body is trying to tell you something needs to change. And today, I'm going to tell you what's really going on. I'm a hepatologist, a specialist in liver diseases, and I've been treating patients with fatty liver disease for many years. Throughout my career, I've seen thousands of cases, people who came to my office completely lost, not understanding why their liver kept accumulating fat despite all their efforts, why their tests weren't improving, why their body seemed to be working against them. And the answer, in the vast majority of cases, lay in this mistake I'm going to reveal today. A mistake that few professionals explained clearly, and that, when it finally comes to light, completely changes the course of treatment. Stick with me until the end, because what you're about to learn here can transform how you take care of your liver starting today. If you've made it this far, it's proof that you truly care about your health, and that matters a lot. I created this channel to be a different kind of space, a place where you'll find information that goes beyond what a doctor has time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. Here, you'll understand what's happening inside your body, discover the most up-to-date medical protocols, and learn real, practical strategies to reverse fatty liver disease before it progresses to something more serious. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and hit the notification bell, because every week I bring you new content based on the latest research with one goal: to help you regain your liver health. You're not alone on this journey, and I'll be here with you every week. Before I reveal the main mistake, I need to tell you something that will surprise you. Research published in the Journal of Hepatology showed that over 30% of people with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, that's liver fat not related to alcohol, show no noticeable symptoms in the early stages of the disease. This means the liver can be accumulating fat, becoming inflamed, and starting to develop fibrosis while the person feels relatively fine while they go to work, take care of their kids, sleep, wake up, and live their life without imagining what's happening inside. And the statistic that worries me most as a doctor is this: it's estimated that today in the U.S., over 100 million people have some degree of fatty liver disease, and most of them don't know it or underestimate the seriousness of the condition. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, also called NAFLD, has become the most common liver disease in the world, even surpassing viral hepatitis. And it has an invisible enemy, a silent trigger that continues to act every day in people's lives without them noticing. I want to tell you the story of Mark. Mark was 44 years old, an accountant, worked a lot, lived under pressure, and had that build he described as a little on the thicker side, but had never had any serious health problems. During a routine checkup, his doctor ordered an abdominal ultrasound, and his blood tests showed elevated AST and ALT, almost double the normal range, and the ultrasound revealed grade 2 fatty liver. The doctor advised diet and exercise, and Mark left the office determined to change everything. He cut out fried foods, stopped eating white bread, started drinking lemon water in the morning, and went to the gym 3 times a week. 3 months later, he went back for his tests. The results had barely changed. The fat was still there, the enzymes were still elevated, and Mark was devastated. With that sense of failure I see in the eyes of so many patients, that silent question of, what am I doing wrong? When Mark came to my office and I started asking the right questions, I found the mistake. And it wasn't what he imagined. Now, I need to pause here for a moment and ask you an important question, because I want you to think honestly about this. Have you ever been in the same situation as Mark? Have you tried changing your diet, exercising, following your doctor's advice, and yet your tests remained abnormal, the fatty liver persisted, and you were left wondering why? I want you to tell me in the comments, because your answer can help thousands of people watching this video right now who are feeling exactly the same, alone, frustrated, without an answer. Use these words if you want. I've tried everything and can't reverse my fatty liver. Don't be ashamed. Don't judge yourself. This feeling is much more common than you think, and it has a real scientific explanation, and it has a solution. When you comment, you break the silence not just for yourself, but for every person behind the screen right now with the same fear, the same frustration, the same doubt. Comment now, because I read every comment, and your story matters. To understand the mistake that's poisoning the liver every day, you need to understand how this organ works. The liver is the largest internal organ in the human body, weighing about 3 pounds, and it performs over 500 different functions. It filters blood, produces bile for digestion, metabolizes fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, stores energy, produces essential proteins, and eliminates toxins and medications. It's an extraordinary organ with an impressive capacity for regeneration, but it has its limits. When this limit is crossed, when it receives more toxins than it can eliminate, more fat than it can metabolize, more inflammatory substances than it can neutralize, it starts to accumulate fat within the liver cells themselves. This is steatosis. In the beginning, they are small droplets of fat inside the cells. Over time, if the aggressor remains present, these cells begin to inflame. And then the disease progresses to a stage called steatohepatitis, or NASH, which is already considered a more serious condition, with a higher risk of progressing to fibrosis and cirrhosis. And the number one aggressor that most people don't identify is precisely the mistake I'm talking about. The mistake is industrialized fructose, not the fructose from natural fruit, which comes with fiber, vitamins, and compounds that modulate its absorption. I'm talking about the fructose added to processed foods, especially high fructose corn syrup, which is present in hundreds of products people consume every day without knowing it. Juice boxes, sodas, fruit-flavored yogurts, ready-made sauces, processed seasonings, cereal bars, processed breads, cream-filled cookies, sports drinks, powdered supplements, even products that present themselves as healthy or diet. Fructose is metabolized completely differently from glucose. While glucose can be used by practically all cells in the body, fructose is processed almost exclusively by the liver. And when it reaches the liver in large quantities, as happens when you consume processed products regularly, it triggers a devastating metabolic cascade. It stimulates fat production within liver cells, increases insulin-resistant syndrome, generates inflammation, produces excess uric acid, and directly contributes to fat accumulation in the liver. Studies published in leading hepatology and nutrition journals show that excessive consumption of industrialized fructose is one of the biggest independent triggers for the development and progression of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Returning to Marcos, when I asked what he drank in the morning before the gym, he proudly replied, "A boxed orange juice and a cereal bar," because he had read they were healthy. When I asked what he put on the grilled chicken he insisted on eating every day, he showed me the processed soy sauce and the pre-made seasoning mix he bought at the store. When I asked what he drank after his workout, he said he drank a sports drink to replenish minerals. Each of these products, that juice box, that cereal bar, that pre-made seasoning, that sports drink, contained added fructose. Every day, while Marcos thought he was doing everything right, he was delivering a load of industrialized fructose to his liver that completely sabotaged any progress he might have made with diet and exercise. Marcos's liver was being poisoned daily, not by something obviously harmful, but by products that the food marketing system had convinced Marcos were healthy. When we completely eliminated these products and reoriented his diet, in 90 days, Marcos's exams showed significant improvement in liver enzymes and a reduction in steatosis confirmed by the new ultrasound. If you have fatty liver, give this video a like right now. This simple gesture helps me know that this content is reaching the right people, the people who need this information, and motivates me to continue bringing more content like this every week. And if you'd like, comment your TGO and TGP levels below, because that way I can better understand the profile of the people watching the channel and create content that is increasingly relevant to your reality. But industrialized fructose isn't the only silent poison. There's a second element that potentiates liver damage in a frightening way, and that's equally hidden in processed products: refined and partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, especially when used at high temperatures during the industrial process. Oils like soybean, sunflower, canola, and corn, when subjected to high-temperature industrial processing, generate compounds called aldehydes, which are highly toxic and pro-inflammatory substances. These compounds reach the liver and potentiate liver cell inflammation, accelerate oxidative stress, and contribute to the progression of simple steatosis to steatohepatitis. The problem is that these oils are present in virtually all ultra-processed foods, from cookies to chips, from instant noodles to frozen meals, from margarines to processed sauces. And many people eliminate the obvious food, homemade fried food, but keep the processed food that was fried in the same type of oil under even more aggressive conditions during manufacturing. The result is a liver that receives a daily bombardment of toxic compounds while the person believes they are taking care of themselves. I met a patient named Renata, a teacher, 51 years old, who came to my office after being diagnosed with grade 1 steatosis with inflammation, which doctors call NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Renata was an extremely health-conscious person, had never smoked, rarely drank alcohol, walked every day, and did yoga twice a week. But when I analyzed in detail what she ate, I realized her diet was full of products she considered healthy, but which were rich in industrialized fructose and processed vegetable oils. She ate processed granola for breakfast, had a snack with whole wheat cookies in the afternoon, ate salad with ready-made dressing for lunch, and had baked fish for dinner with vegetables sautéed in margarine, and drank a boxed fruit juice every day because she thought it was better than soda. Renata's diet seemed healthy on the surface, but it was a silent poison to her liver every day. When we transitioned to a diet based on real foods, without processed items, without added fructose, without refined vegetable oils, in 4 months the inflammation had significantly reduced in blood tests, and in a year the elastography showed regression of the initial fibrosis that had been detected. Renata regained her liver health by changing not only what she ate, but by understanding what was inside every package she put in her grocery cart. Now I want to give you a practical protocol you can start applying today to eliminate these silent poisons from your routine. The first step is to audit your pantry and refrigerator. Take every processed product and read the ingredient list. If you see the words high fructose corn syrup, fructose, inverted sugar, or any variation of these phrases, that product is contributing to fat buildup in your liver. If you find soybean oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, corn oil, vegetable shortening, or partially hydrogenated oil, that product is generating inflammatory compounds in your liver. These are the 2 fundamental elimination criteria. It doesn't need to be perfect from day one, but start gradually replacing these products with real food. The second step is to understand that the liver needs raw materials to regenerate, and these raw materials come from specific foods that science has already identified as hepatoprotective. Silymarin, found in milk thistle, has robust evidence of a protective and regenerative effect on liver cells. Coffee, yes. Coffee without sugar or sweeteners has a consistent association in scientific literature with a reduced risk of liver fibrosis, with studies indicating that 2 to 3 cups a day can have a protective effect for the liver. Omega-3 fatty acids found in cold water fish like salmon, sardines, and tuna have documented anti-inflammatory properties that help reduce liver fat. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cabbage contain compounds like sulforaphane that activate the liver's detoxification mechanisms. And extra virgin olive oil, unlike refined vegetable oils, is rich in anti-inflammatory compounds and has a documented protective effect for the liver. The third step is physical activity. but in a way you might not yet know. Not all exercise benefits the liver in the same way. Recent research shows that a combination of moderate aerobic exercise with strength training produces superior effects in reducing liver fat when compared to each modality practiced in isolation. The mechanism is fascinating. Skeletal muscle, when active, releases substances called myokines, which have a direct anti-inflammatory effect on the liver and increase insulin sensitivity, which reduces hepatic lipogenesis, meaning the production of fat within liver cells. This means that every time you go for a brisk walk or lift a weight, you are sending biochemical messages to your liver, telling it to stop accumulating fat. The evidence-based recommendation is at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, combined with at least 2 days of strength training, and the results in terms of reducing liver fat are usually noticeable in tests after 8 to 12 weeks of consistent practice. One of the questions I get asked most often is, how long does it take to reverse fatty liver? And the answer depends on the degree of the disease. In simple steatosis, without significant inflammation, it's possible to see a significant reduction in 3 to 6 months with the right changes. When there's already inflammation, steatohepatitis, the process is slower. It can take 6 months to a year for lab results to normalize, but it's entirely possible. When there's already fibrosis, the process is more complex, but even early-stage fibrosis can regress with proper treatment. As has been documented in liver biopsy studies, the liver has an extraordinary capacity for regeneration, much greater than any other organ in the human body. But for this regeneration to happen, you need to remove the aggressor, that silent mistake that continues to poison the liver every day. Comment below if you've tried to reverse fatty liver and haven't succeeded, because it could be exactly this mistake that's preventing your progress. Another frequent question is about medications. Are there medications for fatty liver? Yes, there are. And in recent years, science has advanced greatly in this area. There are drugs that act on insulin sensitivity, like pioglitazone, which has evidence in steatohepatitis. There are new drugs like GLP-1 receptor agonists, which, in addition to acting on blood sugar and body weight, have shown significant effects in reducing liver fat and inflammation in recent clinical studies. In 2023, the first medication specifically for steatohepatitis with fibrosis, resmetirom, was approved, which acts directly on the thyroid hormone receptor in the liver and demonstrated fibrosis reduction in phase 3 studies. But it's crucial to understand that no medication works well if the silent mistake, the daily exposure to industrialized fructose and refined vegetable oils, continues to be present. Medication can help control biochemical mechanisms, but if the external trigger remains active, the benefit is limited. Medication and dietary change are not mutually exclusive options. They are complementary. And dietary change is the foundation that potentiates any drug treatment. I want to tell you another case that perfectly illustrates this combination. Carlos, 58 years old, type 2 diabetic for 6 years, discovered grade 3 fatty liver with initial fibrosis in an elastography ordered by his hepatologist. His lab results showed TGO of 78 and TGP of 92, more than double the normal value. Carlos was using metformin for his diabetes, but nothing specific for his liver. When we started working together, besides completely revising his diet and eliminating the silent poisons from his diet, we added a GLP-1 agonist for the dual benefit of glycemic control and reduction of liver fat. In 6 months, his TGO was 32 and TGP was 38, practically normal. In 1 year, the new elastography showed a reduction in fibrosis to grade 0 to 1. Carlos lost 25 pounds. His blood sugar was excellently controlled, and he said he felt like he had gone back in time 10 years. What made the difference for Carlos wasn't just the medication, and it wasn't just the diet. It was the combination of both. And most importantly, it was eliminating the silent mistake that continued to poison his liver every day while he thought he was taking care of himself. Let's consolidate what you've learned today, because it's important that this information stays clear in your memory. The mistake that might be poisoning your liver every day is the consumption of industrialized fructose and refined vegetable oils present in ultra-processed products, including many that the market presents as healthy. This mistake triggers a metabolic cascade of fat accumulation in liver cells, inflammation, insulin resistance, and disease progression. To reverse this condition, the first step is to read labels and eliminate any product containing high fructose corn syrup, added fructose, or refined vegetable oils. The second step is to incorporate liver-protective foods like unsweetened coffee, cold water fish, cruciferous vegetables, extra virgin olive oil, and if necessary, silymarin supplementation guided by a professional. The third step is to combine aerobic activity with strength training at least 5 days a week so that muscles send biochemical signals to the liver to reduce fat accumulation. The fourth step is to talk to your doctor about the possibility of medications that control blood sugar and reduce liver fat, especially if you have diabetes or prediabetes associated with fatty liver disease. And the fifth step, perhaps the most important of all, is not to underestimate the seriousness of the condition. Fatty liver is not a diagnosis to ignore. It's a signal your body is sending that something needs to change before the disease progresses to stages that are harder to reverse. If this video opened your eyes to something you didn't know, if you recognized a trace of your own story in Marcos's, Renata's, or Carlos's journey, I need to ask you a very special favor. Share this video now with someone you love who has fatty liver, who has diabetes, who has a growing belly, who is tired for no apparent reason, who is unknowingly fighting the wrong battle. Because this information you share might just change the course of that person's health. And give it a like if this video helped you, because that shows me I'm on the right track, that this content is reaching the right people, and it gives me the strength to keep producing every week. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and hit the bell, because next week I'm bringing you a video on 5 tests your doctor might not be ordering that can reveal the real stage of your fatty liver before it progresses to something more serious. It's information that could literally save your life, and you won't want to miss it. I'm so happy to be on this journey with you. The liver is an organ that can take a lot, that works silently, that rarely complains until the situation is already serious. But it's also an organ that responds extraordinarily well when you remove the aggressors and give it what it needs to regenerate. Science has advanced a lot in recent years in understanding fatty liver disease, the mechanisms that cause it, and the strategies to reverse it. And my mission here is to transform this scientific knowledge into accessible, practical human information so you can make smarter decisions for your health every day. Take care of your liver as it deserves, because it's working for you every day, silently, asking for nothing in return. And the least you can do for it is to stop poisoning it with mistakes you didn't even know you were making. See you next week.